Be good.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are finishing up the roof vent. Finally got some good weather and I got my sealant in so we can finish this job up. I've already welded in the frame and we cut out our opening from the inside. Next I need to drill the holes here and I'll get on my roof with the router and cut out our outside opening. And that way we can drop in our roof vent. I am using a 12 volt roof vent, so I need to convert my power from 120 to 12 volt, and I'm going to use an LED driver or a power supply or a transformer. There's a lot of different names for them, but I'll show you how I do that in this video so I can hook up my 12 volt roof vent. So I went with that because I couldn't find any 120 volt roof vents that I really liked, and I am a big fan of the MaxxAir vents. I've got one in my travel trailer that does a really good job, and they make a really awesome mini one that will work for this trailer perfectly. So that's what I'm going with, and I'll show you that as we get it hooked up here. So I wanted to show the process from start to finish here, and my trailer didn't come with a roof vent installed or the frame for one. So the first part of the video is just me making that frame and welding it into place here. I used 1 inch by 1 inch angled steel to create my frame. But if your trailer already has a roof vent installed or has the framing for one, you can kind of skip this section and move on to actually cutting out the opening or just dropping in the MaxxAir Mini vent. So the industry standard for these roof vents or for roof AC units is a 14 by 14 inch opening. So that's what I created here. Actually gave myself a little bit of wiggle room, made it 14 1/4 by 14 1/4, just so we wouldn't have any issues. Okay, so I got my ceiling panels in, and I'm gonna cut out my opening for my exhaust vent here. I've already welded in a bracket here to make this a 14 by 14 opening. So what I'm gonna do is take my router here. I've got a guide bit on here where I can put it through here. I'm gonna run it right along that framing that I've got to cut out my square. So put some tape up here just to protect my ceiling, since I already pulled off the protective wrap on it. So no. God, I drilled an opening here for my cord. I think my exhaust vent will cover that. Dang, I did not want to do that. Well, sometimes you screw up. I drilled into my frame here so I could run this power cord through it, and my bit just fell right in it. Dang it. That's alright. I think I stopped it in time. My frame for my exhaust fan comes out about 1 inch, so that should cover it. And so, if not, I'll be cutting a whole new freaking wall panel. So we got the cutout made here. Went pretty well. I made sure to tape the inside of my frame where I had that hole this time, so I didn't make another goof up there. But so far, looks pretty good. Yeah, I got up here on the roof and I noticed a couple spots on the roof that they missed it with the lap sealant during the manufacturing. So I've got a couple cracks on my trim here that I'm gonna go in and reseal that as I'm up here sealing up the roof vent. So yeah, good idea whether you're putting a roof vent in or not to get on top of your trailer and check to make sure that it's all sealed up right, because mine wasn't. There could be water getting in there, getting into my wood paneling on the roof, or running down the inside of my walls, rotting out some of the wood from in there. So don't want any water damage, so I'm gonna make sure everything's sealed up right. You can see here one of the cracks that is not sealed. There's another one. So before installing the cover, you just want to make sure that the surrounding of the opening is nice and clean. So I sprayed it with some alcohol there and wiped it down before coming in and installing my butyl tape. The cover actually has some dimples marked where the screws go, and it came with its own mounting hardware. But since we're screwing it into the steel frame, I went ahead and used my own stainless steel self-tapping screws. After all of our screws were in, I just came around with a razor blade and cleaned up any of the butyl tape that was squeezing out. And then we came in with some self-leveling lap sealant, and this stuff is made for sealing up roof openings like this. So that's what we're using, and I made sure to go all the way from the edge of the cover, covering up all of my screws, and then coming back and going about an inch or so over the actual seam of the cover. So this is what we use to seal up the vent. It's lap sealant and it's self-leveling since we're using it on the roof. They make other stuff that is not self-leveling that you use on windows or other vertical applications. But in this case, we use the self-leveling white. Dicor is the brand, the same brand that we use for the butyl tape around the edge. And this will start to, you can already see how it's starting to smooth out, and it'll continue to do that and kind of level out and probably come out a little bit further here. Okay, so here we've got the inside of our roof vent. It's got the fan and an LED light and the switches here. It's got an open and close lever here. We're gonna hook up. This is an LED driver or a power supply or a transformer. So it essentially what it does is it takes in 110 volt power and outputs 12 volt power. This is a 2 amp 12 volt fan. So I got a 2 amp driver here. So it's a max 30 watt output. So that way I'm gonna mount this on the inside of the box like this here. I'm gonna get some VHB and mount it right here along the side, and then because I can't screw it with these. It actually has a couple spots for you to put some screws in, but I can't do that with this because I don't want the screws showing on the other side. So this will go through here with a connector, and then we'll get the 12-volt side wired up, and then when I go to install it, I'll install this side with my hot ground and neutral wires to my 120 volt input. Okay, this is the VHB tape that I was talking about. It's 3M, very high bond tape. Stuff is crazy sticky. Okay guys, so connecting my 120 to my 12 volt. It's pretty thin gauge wire that the 120 is connecting to, so I actually went ahead and soldered them. And then I'm gonna put the wire nuts on to protect them and tape them up. And they're gonna be going inside of this box, so should be good. Okay guys, we got our fan and lights wired up here. This is our driver, our 12 volt driver coming in, and we connected the positive and negative here. I actually goofed up on this and connected and reversed the connections, and luckily since it's 12 volt we didn't really have any issues, and it didn't even blow this fuse right here. The fan was working but the LED lights weren't, so I was trying to diagnose that and I couldn't quite figure out what the issue was, and then I went back and clearly red, positive brown, negative blue, and I had them reversed. So I went in and fixed that, and I've got my 120 volt connection here going into my power supply, and this our cover here on the roof has 4 screw holes here, so this will go up and then we'll just screw it together. So we'll go ahead and get that mounted up here. Okay guys, that's a wrap on the roof vent. Got it all installed here and working as it should. I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. I think it goes with the trailer really well, and it's super sleek and low profile. So really good obviously in this trailer, since we've only got about a 6'4" working height. So yeah, really happy with the way it turned out. The install wasn't too difficult. Would have been a lot easier if I wouldn't have screwed up on the wiring there, but we got that fixed and all is good now. So here's a final look at the roof vent. All in all, this phase of the project only took me about 3.5 hours to weld in the frame, cut out the opening, wire up the roof vent, and get it mounted. So not too bad. Stay tuned for the next one. Should be good.